The Mark Mende phenomenon is not about Kevin Maina, the actor, or just a band. It's about the triumph of social media over traditional marketing avenues. But its true test will be in its longevity. How long will it last, and how effective is it? Larry, Madowo, KTN, Nairobi. If you go and buy a new SIM card right now, you will have to register it because operators are doing that. But if you have a SIM card or SIM cards that are not registered, you don't necessarily have to register them because your operator cannot disconnect you much as the government wants them to do that because that same government has not made the laws. So the operator's hands are literally tied. Hello everybody, this is KTN, the only name in business. I'm Larry Madowo. The newly resuscitated Investco Assurance Company has served thousands of claimants who had pending obligations against the insurer before it went under receivership with a court order. The orders contained in a paid-up advertisement in 2 national dailies on Wednesday now mean that all those enjoined will not be able to enforce or pursue any claims or effect any awards against Investco Insurance until a case to determine the way forward on the matter is heard and determined on the 10th of February.
And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the Intercontinental Hotel here on this Inspiration Thursday. That right there was Larry Madowo back in the day. This is Larry now.
The suits fit better. I just need to point that out.
But do you say?
Yeah.
You just whisper.
The ties also look fancier.
I like the Burberry.
Snazzier.
Burberry. and the handkerchief that people are commenting about.
Yeah, it's called a pocket square owl.
But you don't say.
Yeah, but I don't say. You know where I come from. These things, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, before the break,
yes,
we were up to 123,000 shillings.
Okay.
If you or I get to interview Obama.
Right.
Dr. Kenneth Wamayo has thrown in another 2K.
Okay.
So we're up to 125K.
Then my colleague, Steve Dumas, gives another 10K.
So we're at 135.
135.
Is somebody keeping track?
I saw somebody's called Anthony Taiti. I think I used in class with him. Anthony Taiti says another 10K.
Come on.
145.
Do you know these people?
I know these people.
Are they legit?
I will collect.
Do they have IDs?
I know where they live. I'll go and check the fridge.
Okay, here's the worst case scenario.
Yes.
What if neither you nor I get to interview him? Because, you know, State Department and those people, they may say, you know what, no African is going to interview our president.
President Obama is not going to be speaking to any African journalists.
You all stay behind the red line.
So in that case, you and I both donate 100,000 shillings to charity. Good.
You're a gentleman, man. You're a gentleman. Good man. Good man. So.
Yes.
You've got your show. Mm-hmm. You're doing great. You're doing fine.
Right.
What makes you want to leave KTN after 3 years?
So here's the thing. I've said here's the thing too many times.
No, it's good. It's good. It's all right. That and true story, I noticed. You say that a lot.
I loved working at KTN. And really, they took a chance on me when nobody else could. And I'm grateful to the 3 people that hired me at the time. Farida Karone, Linus Kaikai, who's my current boss, and Tatuan Zile, who used to run this place for a long time. And they took a chance on this little boy with no TV experience. And for 3 years, I was able to work here and to really find my life's calling. And then after 3 years, I thought, KK called me and said, listen, why don't you come and let's do something new? So I was doing a show called KTN Financial Markets Live on every weekday at 2 p.m. And he said, we could do something together at NTV. So I said, okay, sure, let's do this. And that's how I went to NTV.
When did you start the whole techie thing? Because apparently they credit you with being like the techie guy, you know, even before internet or before Twitter and what Facebook.
People don't know this, but I created the KTN Facebook and Twitter accounts before any other media house had a Facebook or Twitter account.
Is that right?
Yes, and I kept telling my bosses, the future is moving here, social media is going to be a big deal and we all need to play in this space. At the time, some bastard, can I say that on TV?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Too late. Some bastard was squatting on at KTN Kenya account, and he said, so I told him, hey, we're here, we'd like to take over this account. He's like, no, send me a check and I'll give you the account. But I know people at Twitter. So the next day he woke up and he didn't have the account.
Speaking of knowing people at Twitter, you're verified.
I see where you're going.
I'm going with this. I'm going there.
So I walked into Twitter one of these days in San Francisco.
I'm sorry, you did what?
I walked into the Twitter offices in San Francisco.
In Nairobi?
No, in San Francisco. In California. And I'm like, yeah, I have problems in impersonation. I'm kind of a big deal in Kenya.
You did not tell them that. And they said, Larry Madowo.
Look at that. You're not verified. We must correct that. And they verified my account.
So how come they haven't verified mine?
You haven't asked me. Exactly. Now we're talking.
Okay, so you set up those accounts and then you're over.
Yeah, so I was really into tech because it's something I've always had an interest in. I didn't grow up with a TV or electricity at home, and so the whole bright, shiny lights and things with an on and off button have always fascinated me. You know, when I came into the city and discovered them, like, wow, this really sounds interesting. So I had an interest from tech, and at KTN I used to do tech. At NTV I continued to do tech. At CNBC, I call myself a wannabe techie. Like, I'd have no actual technology skills, but I'm a cheerleader for technology.
And it's worked for you?
It's worked for me. I have traveled the world. I have met important people.
You travel a lot. Remember we were trying to do this interview the last 3-4 weeks?
Yeah.
You've been out.
We tried to do it, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was in Hanoi, in Vietnam.
Correct.
And I had to go to Tanzania the other week. And yeah.
Nice.
So you're lucky you caught me this week.
We are not worthy. We're not worthy.
So I love to travel, and I'm blessed to have an opportunity to be able to do that.
The trend.
Yes.
Where did that start? Where did that come from?
So the trend was started by an excellent guy called James Smart.
Oh, James Not So Smart.
James Not So Smart.
That's him.
So we were thinking through what to do on Friday nights with Joe Ageo, who was at NTV at the time, one of the best journalists in the business.
Great guy.
And they came up with this idea, like, what if we could have people come together and talk about the most important issues of the day and give people an opportunity to speak to them and tweet them and whatnot. So they did the first show just a week or two before I left NTV, and I helped them out in finding guests and just doing the KYM work. At the point, I was happy with James Smart. And he was really great at the show. He brought on politicians and influential news people and had a great show. Then he left NTV. It just happened that around the same time, I was coming back to NTV. So nobody wanted...
From CNBC?
From CNBC.
Kwa hivyo ukangukia.
Now nobody wanted to do the show because they had to find their own guests and there was no structure, etc. And I was not on a regular anchoring schedule as yet because Victoria Rubadiri had not joined. So 1 week Smriti was away and I said, okay, I'll do the show because, well, there's not much I'm doing here anyway. And that's sort of how it fell onto my laps. It was not part of my plan. It was not in my contract.
No.
Just nobody was doing the show at the time, and I was available.
Stepped in.
So it has evolved into what it is today.
Because of you. Because of you.
It's a train wreck. I don't know why they keep it on. I think our bosses have never watched it.
It's still going down.
Because if they watched it, they would have like, no, we can't have this on our air. This is terrible.
Look, you're being a little modest here because you even extended it. Now it's come before the news. You have like an 8:30 version, right? And then it extends beyond the news.
Yeah, it's part of our evil plan to take off the NTV schedule, all of it. So one time slot at the time. So we have an 8:20 to 9 p.m. where we have a panel of the silliest people on television. And then at 10 p.m. we have all the other Willie Paul's on tomorrow, for instance.
Is that right?
He picked my calls, finally.
Come on.
Yeah.
What about Kanyari?
Kanyari, now you messed up. You came on my show.
Yep.
And you used one of these little boys
I did one of this on Kanyari.
And he won't pick my calls now. He doesn't pick my calls. He doesn't answer my texts.
Well, you know,
but he picks Churchill's calls.
Uh-huh.
He went on Churchill's show. Did you see that?
I saw that. I saw that.
What did you think?
So would you invite him back?
I see what you're doing. Yes, I would love to have Kanyari on.
Would you?
Because I would love to put the hard questions to him.
So if he's watching now, the invitation still stands?
Yes. If you go to Kanyari's church, please ask him to call me back. It worked on Willie Paul's. Maybe it will work on Kanyari.
Look at that.
If you go to Kanyari's church, you have his phone number. Inundate his Facebook page if he's got one, or his church line, the one for 310. Pigeni yo simu.
Maybe we should send 310.
I'm to me 310. Labda ni sida nataka.
Labda.
Weka maji kwa karai.
You skipped the CNBC part. Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that okay? Didn't you enjoy that?
CNBC was a lot of fun. I got to live in South Africa.
Yes.
And we'll come to xenophobia in a moment.
Sure. Did you enjoy Joburg?
I love Joburg.
Where'd you live?
It is very Ayoba. They say Ayoba, right? Lecha. Lecha. Joburg was so much fun, and I loved working for CNBC. It was an excellent experience, broadcasting to the entire continent.
Good channel.
Excellent channel. Talking business at the highest possible level in Africa. So it was a really great experience.
Yep.
And the people were always so nice to me.
Is that right?
They were interested in my language, and sometimes I'd speak in Swahili on air, and they were fascinated by that.
Come on.
And
you were being you.
I was being myself.
Yeah.
I was being myself, and that's what my bosses loved. And now all this xenophobia happening is very shocking. You lived in South Africa much longer than I did.
6 years, my brother. 6 years.
Years.
Yes.
What, people hostile to you?
You can tell there, some, not all, obviously. There's some really, amazing South Africans. But there is that element of xenophobia. And of course, it's from decades of being enclosed, decades of not interacting with...
So the fruits of apartheid.
They are. Not only the rest of the world, but the rest of what they call Africa.
Africa. You came from Africa.
Correct. So, the rest of us is like, wow, and you mentioned the fact that they love the way you spoke.
Yes.
Because, we're different. They don't expect Africans from Africa to speak like us. So we were different. But you could see with others, there's a bit of, xenophobia. Somalis. They kill Somalis over there, man. There's been a huge, high death rate.
And this is especially in the poorer neighborhoods.
Correct. So, it's tough. It's tough. But it's a great place to live.
It's a great place to live. It's an eye-opening experience.
But they have issues.
They have issues.
That horrible picture of the guy in flames.
Yeah, my goodness. Saw that? It's very heartbreaking. Very heartbreaking.
Yeah. So, how long were you there?
I was there at CNBC for 8 months.
Where'd you live?
I lived in Sandton.
Why did you leave?
Oh. You know the way you speak, Jeff, I can't keep up with you. Like, where do you live? Where do you live? They all sound the same. So I was just going to brag about that whole... Should I just jump through the whole living in Sandton thing? Richest square mile in Africa? Okay, I'm just going to jump through it. Okay, so I left. I left because it became a little boring. It was routine. And I missed the excitement of working here.
In Nairobi?
In Nairobi. And I'd see stuff in the local news and be like, I really want to be able to cover this and to ask the questions. And I don't have that opportunity. Because people just don't watch it. Not enough people watch CNBC here. And it's a business channel.
Larry, people would kill for the job you had over there.
Exactly.
To be out there, at that level.
They would have loved it, yes. Continental-wise.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy it. I don't have regrets about doing CNBC. However, I missed playing in this scene. I missed playing here and being able to call Aden Duale, who doesn't know me apparently, even though I interview him every so often.
He came back and said, oh, he's a great guy, man. He's a great guy. Oh, he's number one, Larry.
I would love to be able to interview Aden Duale and ask him about why is Parliament behaving as it is? Or Alfred Keter, do you think what you did was right?
Nice.
And I didn't have that opportunity working on the business channel.
And this is what a lot of people don't appreciate, right? Everyone thinks the grass is greener on the other side.
The water bill is also higher.
And the xenophobia.
And the xenophobia, there's that too.
You know what I'm saying?
You miss being away from home.
So the freedoms that we have, and I'm not just saying under this constitution because we've been working here for a while, the freedoms that we have in this country are incredible, aren't they?
People should appreciate what we have in this country. Despite our many problems, you need to be away there to appreciate what we've got in this country.
Yeah.
There is nowhere like home.
Yeah.
And I've been around the world.
There you go.
I love coming back here.
But you don't say.
I don't say.
Someone mentioned you have 64 teeth in your mouth.
I have, that's a conservative estimate. I'm thinking that there's some in the 80s. I've had them all my life. I have names for them, pet names, like this over here is Sharpie. People think you'll bring me down because of the number of my teeth?
Yes.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
I have had insecurities with every bit of my being. I was not the most likely person to be on TV. I didn't look right, I didn't sound right, I didn't go to the right schools. So I do know my insecurities and I'm used to them. You can't use those to bring me down.
None of those.
No.
And even if Jeff Koinange calls you Madowo.
Please, I've had this name for 27 years. I've had every variation of it.
Have you?
Every one of them.
What's the wildest? What's the wildest?
Mandondo. I have had every one of them.
Mandondo.
And I'm used to them. You can't use that to bring me down.
No.
I'm like, yeah, man. Pick a number and join the queue.
That's a great point. I want to save that for the next part because you're one of the few journalists I see who can take a hit. You can take it, whether it's on social media, whether Gafla loves you, by the way.
I think Gafla has a quota. They have to write to Larry Madowo posts every day.
Because they trade.
Like, I look at it, I'm like, God, they have figured something out. If you put my name on a post, it's just going to go viral.
Boom.
It's crazy.
Boom.
So they do that every day. And because of all those other Gafla copycats and Pasho and and whatnot, they will do the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole pseudo-celebrity garbage industrial complex that exists in this country.
Yes.
That is ridiculous.
I like that. G-I-C, garbage industrial complex.
Yes.
I like that.
It's true. That's what it is.
Does it affect you, Larry? Do you go home at late in the day after your job? You've done a fantastic job at work and everything, and you're going home and you get into your house, you've locked that door, and it's just Larry and the house. Does it get to you?
It used to get to me when I started out. It used to worry me, like, these people don't know who I am. You've never met me. So why are you saying these things about me? Like, I don't know you. You probably would like me if you met me. And then I realized, as long as you're doing something that's unique, something that's different, you will find some pushback. And if you're doing ordinary things, nobody has a problem with you. But the minute you start going off the grain, then the quote, haters will come. I don't think they're haters, they're confused admirers.
They really admire you, they don't know how to sell.
Yeah, they don't know how to do that. And I think there's a bit of it which is envy. Some people are like, wow, how can this kid be doing all these things at his age? No, he can't be doing that. Or why does he get to go to all these important places and meet fun people, and he's joking around Bob Collymore on Twitter and etc.
And Paul Kagame.
And Paul Kagame, hanging out with Paul Kagame. Why does he get to do that? So there's a sense of compensatory narcissism, which is you only feel good about yourself if you bring somebody else down. I think that's sad.
Ay, Kizungu nayo. Compensatory narcissism.
I am my father's son.
I love it. You are wise beyond your years. My goodness. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Madowo.
I like that.
You like that?
I like it.
Gonna take a break, come back, talk about, everybody's asking, does Larry have a girlfriend?
We'll talk about that.
Is it Rupadiwi?
It is not.
Oh my. Madowo. At Larry Madowo. I promise I'll read your tweets when we come back, because the tweets are coming in. Willie? I can't hear you. Thick and fast.
Thick and fast.
At Larry Madowo, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag, the trend. Oh yeah, it's not about me. I keep saying that. JKL takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.